when you're coaching a team, you never think about more than a game away. But I got to tell you, if somebody told me I'd have been sitting here talking to you about being 3-0, I probably would have agreed to give away my right arm. I'm glad I didn't have to do that. This was by far, and it may even be, since I've been here, the gutsiest win I've seen of our teams. To take a bunch of really good basketball players from New York City who tried to come in here and steal one from you and take a punch in the mouth and be able to deliver one back and come out with a win was just tremendous. And, you know, everybody contributed to this, not just the guys who played, because in order to be prepared for a game like this, you have to have hard practices. And just a really good feeling in that locker room right now of winning a game like that. So having said that, I'll open it up for questions.
Hofstra looked like a team that could get you out of rhythm, but they never did. I mean, you guys kind of kept your team low.
We sure tried. I mean, they tried to get physical with us. They tried to sort of change up their defenses. They changed their offense a couple of times, and each time our guys just sort of handled it. And I think that is a function of their maturity. I mean, you know, there's still a young team, but they've played quite a few games now, and they haven't seen everything, but they've seen a lot of things. And to be able to play a team like that and sort of get and we didn't shoot as well as we had been shooting, so that made it tougher. And to not lose your cool in that situation was very it was very impressive to me. You know, in the history of Princeton basketball, funny enough, there are always guys like that. I mean, that's sort of the basis of what you do. You find skillful, bigger guys who can sort of take the pressure off the guards when you play a team that has oppressive type guards or fast type guards. And but we haven't had one. I mean, you know, if you can imagine, when I first got here, we lucked up in having Rule and Shaftenar, who absolutely fit perfectly, but needed to sort of learn it as he went along. And then we moved along to Joe and Angus, who are both going to end up being pretty good centers for us. But Joe is special because, unlike most of the guys who I've seen play this position, Joe's got the IQ also of a point guard. He thinks like a point guard thinks. He can see steps ahead in the game of basketball. Usually when you have a big man who's playing that spot, they're skillful and can make a pass or two, but Joe can make all the passes. And you know, his shot wasn't falling today, and he was so frustrated with himself, and I told him, just calm down. You're going to be okay. And really, 11 assists. I haven't seen a Princeton-type center get 11 assists, I mean, in a long time, let alone with 3 turnovers.
Can you talk about Jared tonight a little bit, just 35 points?
Well, we needed Jared. We needed every minute Jared was out there. And I think they woke a sleeping giant, because Jared was sort of having a sluggish day until they started really pressuring him, and they got him going, and he just decided he was going to take the game over and make sure we weren't going to lose. And that is, for those of you who have been watching us play, that's some growth there for him. I mean, you know, he's really playing assertively, and he's playing like an all Pac-10 player right now, and it really is nice having him on our team. You know, it's interesting because he was so disappointed in his foul shooting, because he's been making foul shots for the last 2.5 years and missed a couple here and there. But I try to tell him, you know, without you doing what you're doing, we're not even in this game. I mean, when we had some dry spells, he was able to just pick us up and put us on his shoulders and slog us through.
So it's been a while since this program has really had a player that has done that in a game. Are there games that come to mind when you think about a player really taking over and scoring 30-plus points and really put it on his back?
Well, you know, we almost had it happen last year at Arizona State. That game was not televised when Roberto did it for us. And if you take Jared out of the equation, you can say Devon did it tonight as well. So it's nice to have guys who are, so that means we have 3 guys who are capable of doing it and have done it in the past. So that's really nice to have. And then you've got Ahmad Starks who can, I think, can carry a team offensively from time to time. But, you know, that notwithstanding, our defense was just, I just thought that when it was time to clamp down, I mean, I look at, they scored 41 in the first half, and then we held them to 31, which is more like what we want to do in the second half. And I think we just warmed down, you know, with our pressure. So given all the offensive stuff that went on, I was really happy with the way we played D.
What do you feel like you've learned about your team to this point?
Well, I've learned that they're extremely tough-minded. I won't have to worry about that. I've also learned that it was nice to be able to get an early test with a punch in the mouth. I always use that term, punch in the mouth, when a team comes out and sort of jumps you and you're able to kind of chip away, even it up, and then pull away from them. So we know we have that. As a matter of fact, I told the guys, this is a great game to put in the memory banks because you're going to be in situations like that, especially on the road, and you can call on that memory to remember that you can do that. And thirdly, and I know the guys have been talking about this a lot, and I haven't been talking about it as much, but even the guys who didn't play and the guys who didn't play well contributed, and nobody cares who contributes and how much. It's just, let's win the game. Let's come together and win the game. And those timeouts when they're yelling at each other about, all right, we got to get going, we got to get going, it sort of shows me that they have, they're maturing. I mean, you know, I'm making substitutions and giving them suggestions now. And that's the sign of a good team, the makings of a good team.
Are you having fun with the new style, the man, the transition game, that sort of thing?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm having fun. When you're 3-0, it's more fun than being the other way around. But I just like playing the way we can play to win the game. You know, I would prefer to play man all the time. We just haven't had enough horses to do it. As you can see, you get in foul trouble. You got to bring in guys who can still play with that intensity, and we can do that. So, you know, we've got 10 guys who we can put in the game, and I think we played 9. So that's a good thing. But yeah, to get back to the question, I'm having fun coaching this team, and I suspect that that'll continue to go. And I told these guys, I said, you know, in spite of how we do in games, this has been a really enjoyable preseason to coach these guys. I mean, they just work hard. I mean, our practices are harder than the games, and that's how it should be. And these guys can work. They can crack each other's heads in practice, and then they can have fun eating pizza together. So it's been really fun to coach these guys. But, you know, as you know, we got a lot of work to do, and I want to keep it fun, so I want to win some more games.
Obviously, the confidence helps the players in winning these games. When you talk about the confidence in the coaching staff, I mean, winning these kind of brutal games is good, right?
It is, but the coaching staff never feels confident. You never feel confident. I'm still at a point where, you know, I'm just struggling through the games, you know, but and I'm not trying to be facetious at all. I mean, I literally had take one game at a time. I haven't even taken a look at what Texas is doing, and but these guys are slowly getting me to the point where I know what to expect from them now. I mean, this is 3 games, and we've gotten the same thing every game. Now, there's the execution or the actual shot making was a little bit off today from 3. I mean, you know, we're a better 3-point shooting team than 15%, but, you know, this is our 3rd game in 5 days. The legs are a little tired, but the effort is the same every single time, and that I've gotten used to from seeing them at practice.
51 fouls, a lot of whistles. How tough was it to keep some sort of rhythm in the game?
Well, it made it disjointed because we got in foul trouble and we hadn't been in foul trouble before, so it made it. Well, I guess disjointed is a good word, but it just makes it nerve-wracking when Jared picks up his second foul. I hadn't normally I would take Jared out when he picked up 2 fouls, but he's gotten a lot of playing time now. He knows what to do. He was able to keep the pressure on without ever picking up that 3rd foul in the first half. Roberto, I thought that he's smart too, and I was surprised he picked up his 5th. But we needed him in there because we needed somebody to make that shot finally, and I had every confidence that every one he took looked like it was going in, and when he made that one that stretched it out, that was key because that gave us some room to breathe a little bit, and then that made their shots a little bit harder. But the refs never cause you to win or lose a game. Because both teams have to play with it. I thought it was a physical game, but they had just as many fouls called on them, I bet.
26-25.
Yeah, so there you go.
Does a game like this give you confidence to go across the country and play good teams that maybe you wouldn't have before the season started?
Yeah, it does. It does. But I don't not just this game. It really isn't. It's the preparation up to and through this game that gives you confidence to go out on the road and play against a good team. If we had not been practicing well and happened to win this game, I wouldn't feel that way. But we've been pretty consistent from an effort standpoint, a work standpoint, an energy level, a defensive standpoint. So now you're like, okay, let's go take our bike out and test it against the other kids down the street. So we're looking forward to it.